you will remember that there were 4 causes, no? The material cause, the final cause, the formal cause, and the efficient cause. Okay, so everything in this life has 4 causes. The material, no, wood in this case, and the formal cause, the design, the shape, the form at the end of the day, the final cause, what are things for, and the efficient cause. The efficient cause, as you can see here, could be a person or the action of that creates that. No? Many times it's not a person. Who creates monkeys? Well, the mom, monkey mom. Who creates, I don't know, the river? No, rain. So it means that could be an action of the human being or an action of the environment, nature. That is the idea. I don't know if you remember this one, the Statue of Liberty. We have seen so many causes of the Statue of Liberty. One of them was exactly the the same. No, which kind of material? Wood? No. Bricks? Yes. Cement in the base, and a kind of iron for the ribs, and many other things was part of the material cause of the Statue of Liberty. Then who was the cause, the final cause? There were many, no? A gift, anniversary, and I just writing a question, and let me put the chat to see if the okay. Celebration of liberty, of an anniversary, of a gift, and the salaries could be also of many people. No? And the agent cost, So today we will focus more in the agent cost. What is the agent cost? Well, we saw some workers, people who did that, who did create the Statue of Liberty. First, the intellectual creation of the authors, no? Bartholdi, and also Eiffel, and the people that were in that get together, that party, who decided, let's do that. No? But also the government of France and many others. And finally, also the workers. So these workers that are working here, exactly the same. So you can see that agent costs could be many. Let me put here. We mentioned here that there's some people is the remote efficient cost. Efficient or agent is the same. Efficient or agent, because agent is the person, and efficient in general is the action of the person or the person too, both. No? And France, the government of New York, also the immediate cost, and the workers' action. So you can see action is highlighted. Is that the most immediate cause that creates something, an action. Rivers, how can be created? Well, with raining. Raining is an action, no? But we can say that rivers are created by heaven, yeah, because from the clouds of heaven, they get the water. So you can see a kind of subject Rose, please mute yourself. From the actions of heaven, you can raining, you obtain rivers. Okay, could be an action of the human being or an action of the nature, as we saw that. Okay, so let's focus now in the efficient causes of the legal system. What creates a right, for example? What creates a duty? What creates a law? There could be many things. What kind of actions, immediate actions? Let's focus now our attention now and on the immediate actions that creates the law, a right, a duty, or statute law, an act of the parliament. What kind of things do you think that could be? Well, let's see. What kind of actions? Actions you think are able to create the law? Okay, I put the question there in the chat. What kind of actions do you think? Signing a treaty, yeah. Signing, that's good. Tremi, any other action? Signing, the action of signing. Issuing a constitution. In both cases, is an action of the intellect, of the will, of the who is the person there, probably the authorities of the country, no? Yeah. An action of the intellect or the will. Signing a treaty and a constitution. A referendum, then is an action of the people. Exactly. Very good. Any that the queen, exactly, no? If there is, we have a kingdom, the will of the king, of the queen, is the law. Yeah, yeah. What else? Now, till now, yeah, we are talking just about norms, but there could be many other things. Just norms? No. There could be also an act of the intellect. Do you know any act of the intellect that creates law, that creates a rule that you have to follow? Do you have any in mind? No one? What about traditions? Traditions is an act of the intellect. Yeah, you receive hearing from your parents, from your tribe, from your brothers, and yeah, you believe you should do, I should get married in this way. Why? Because, well, everyone do the same. That's exactly the same way, so I will do it the same way, or whatever you want, or this is reasonable, this is reasonable. Tradition also, but that is an act of the intellect. You understand that you should do this in this way, even if no one approved as a law is approved with the will of the authority. Well, if you see that everyone is doing, you should do that in that way, more or less. So act of the will, any kind of norm. Even I will say agreements. Nobody put here as a treaty that is a kind of international agreement. Yeah, but any kind of agreement is also an action of the will. An action of the will could be an action of the intellect too. And finally, do you think that nature, an action of nature, can create laws? Yes or no? By the way, Rosalind, did you put? Let me ask you. Did you, just a question, a private question for Rosalind. Okay. Yeah, okay. I was asking, there is a new feature that I wanted to use today in Zoom that is, well, to allow you to answer in an easy way. Well, okay, so my question is that, could you imagine so why it's not working? I don't know what is happening. Okay. These kind of things. Do you have in your screen, I mean in the chat, the possibility of yes, no, and many other things? Don't you? Okay, because I wanted to use that. So my question, let's continue. Could you imagine any act of the will of the nature that can create rights or duties? Do you have in mind anyone? By the way, thank you, Evelyn, for the answer. Let's see if we are able to. Someone? Nobody? Well, okay. Let's put the answers. In biology, childbirth creates the rights and duties of parents and children. Very good. That is training. Very good. That is a good answer. Childbirth is an act of nature. It's an act of nature that creates human rights. Imagine that, not one job, just one, right? But human rights are human duties, both. Childbirth. Any other idea? Any other idea here? No one. There is a typical thing that you study in another subject, probably. That is, for example, suppose that you have global warming has brought about laws to protect the earth. Yeah, but this in as long that it is clear, but laws are, this kind of laws are approved by the will of the people. I think so. That probably, considering the environment issues, we decide. So the action is our will. We decide to approve these laws. Emma's got the death, no? Inheritance, both, yes, exactly. Act of biology is not the human being, it's something that happened to the human being and creates and you have many consequences in the law. Okay, great. Thank you for your answer, Aslan. Very good, Faith and Emma. Interactions in society. Interactions, once again, is act of the will most of the times. Respect is an act. I want to respect you. I want is an act of the will. But let's think in another thing. For example, if you have a land in your village, a big land that the border is the river, a river with a lot of water. What happens if there is a season with a lot of rain and the tide of the river is going up? Suppose 2 meters. I remember that happened to one house of my family. So 3 meters high the tide. So we lost land. We lost land. Why? Because the river is like that, and if the tide is going to and you're in the border, you're losing land. The river is from the owner is the state in most countries. So you are losing rights. So many square meters of land, right? Instead of that, let's suppose that after a while, there is no rain. 1 year without rain. What will happen? So the tide of the river will go down. It will be upon dry, almost dry. Yeah, just a small line of water in the middle. What will happen with that action of the nature? You will gain meters. You will gain meters, so your land will be bigger. Yeah. So, as you can see, an action of nature can give you more or less land, more or less rights, it means, no? So you can see, at the end of the day, what produces the law? So now I have this possibility here. Well, I'm just trying to see new things. Okay, so we have these possibilities. The legal facts, legal facts, what is legal facts? An action that is not from the human being, but could be from nature, okay? Or the acts of God. We have the acts of God here. Yeah, death, childbirth, but also any action, for example, a tornado, a volcano, no? Like in Congo, destroying the properties of many people. You are losing your home, for example. Yeah, a pity. Yeah, but many people lose many things with the action of nature. Tsunami, earthquake. In my country, there are many earthquakes every year. I mean, every year in Ecuador. So I know people that are losing many things now. So Kenya is very peaceful. It's very peaceful. I mean, you don't have in Puerto Rico. They have every year tornadoes every year, and people losing their homes and things every year. Incredible, no? Kenya is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's very peaceful in these kind of things. But all of them legal facts, acts of God and of nature, things that you don't expect or you expect, but you cannot do anything about that. Then, to the act of the intellect, we will call them legal conceptions. Legal conceptions, because it's not just an idea, but especially an idea that creates law. our traditions. I believe that I should give something, fish, to those who give me fruit. Remember the Trojan Islands, no? Islanders. In the Trojan Island, fishermen will exchange fish with farmers who will give fruit. So, but they have that in mind. They didn't approve. That is the custom there. No? They have more or less that in the principle of reciprocity. Many things we believe, no? Parents, why parents have a duty with their children? Because they understand that. They understand that even if there is no law approved, because many communities don't have a code saying you should do that, they will say that is reasonable. I have to bear my children. No, an act of the intellect that creates law. Then an act of the will. An act of the will. I approve a treaty. The will of the authorities. I approve this law. The will of the parliament. I approve this agreement. The will of the parties. So you can see that normally people believe that is an act of the will, the thing that produces the law, but it's also an act of the intellect and of the nature. And many times there is a mix of everything that we can see. It's a mix because there are things that requires the intellect and the will at the same time and in the same proportion, more or less. No? For example, the first example is legal customs. Legal customs. What are legal customs? Okay. Okay. Now Rosalind is okay. Sorry, you have in reactions the possibilities of okay, approve, not to approve, and many other things now. Okay, so I will put some questions in the chat, and you should say if you approve or not. You should click in reactions, yes or no. Okay, that is the idea, and in this way we will get the answers. But let's see if that is working. So how many requirements? Let me see. No. Let me see. Everyone's meeting. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the answer. So, how many requirements do we need for a legal custom? So, the first question is a legal custom only an act of the will? I mean, of the, yeah. So this is the question. Let's see how it works. Put in reactions. Put in reactions or check. Yeah, okay. Very good. There's another. Let's give 10 minutes. Well, no, 10 minutes is too much. 1 minute to see who is answering. Oh, very good. 4. Oh, but they are 76. There are people. Remember that I will check participation. No? Okay, you got it. So the answer is no. Yeah, okay, perfect. The answer is no. Why? Because you need three requirements. Three requirements. What kind of requirements? I I see that someone is just, you should put in reaction. It's okay. It's okay. You can, okay, I'm very good opinion jurist. But by the way, there are people that are just put the X here, but it's better to put in the reactions the X or not. Okay. Next time we can do that. Leticia, you raised your hand. Yes. You want to say something? Don't you? Oh, okay. You want to say something? Okay. Well, you can say it. Okay. I don't know. I don't hear you. Okay, but in any case, let's continue. What is a legal custom? Traditionally, authors will say that a legal custom requires three things. Three things. First one, there should be an act that is repeated over time, long time. The same act, and it should be repeated by the whole society, not just one guy. So it's an act of the will. Second requirement is an act that is, well, sorry, the second requirement is time. And an act repeated by the community along 1 year, 10 years. I don't know. It depends which part of the law requires that. And finally, okay, no worries, Leticia. And finally, the understanding that that act is obligatory. You have to do that. The society asks you to do that. It's binding. It's compulsory. You don't have an option not to do. Because there could be many customs. For example, there is a custom how you eat in your table at home. Well, there are some customs. In every culture, you have some customs. But you realize if you don't do that, you cannot be sued. Nobody will ask you in front of the judge, for example, you should do that, and otherwise I will accuse you, and I will, no, obviously, denounce you. No. So things that happen at table, rules of etiquette, are customs, but not legal customs. Instead of that, we have many different customs, no? The customs of the I would say, just checking that, of the law that we believe that we should do in that way. Okay, so this is a mix. We need an understanding, an act of the will, an act of the heart, and an act of the intellect. Sorry. Same happened with jurisprudence. What is the case law, for example? It's a judgment of the one guy that said this is the law in this case. But this first an understanding of the judge, and then he put his will. I will approve this. I will approve this. Many times, judge magistrates have many possibilities, no? I can put, for example, this guy 1 year or 10 years in prison. I will choose 5 because I think that is reasonable in this case. So it's not just an act of the intellect, it's a decision of the will. I have in my intellect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 possibilities for this guy, but I say, well, probably it's reasonable to put this guy in prison just 5 years, no? So it's an act of the will, not just an act of the intellect. The approval of any sentence, case law, and jurisprudence, as you can see here. Okay. Okay, many questions till now.